Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to the Animorphs Reviews YouTube channel. Now I am going to rank every single Animorphs book front cover. And it's going to be an absolutely wicked time. I know somebody's done it before and I'm just making sure I know who did it before. Because yeah, somebody else did this exact same thing before and it was KTB. The title of the video was I ranked all 54 Animorphs book covers. So we're going to do something similar. So we're going to do all 64. But yeah, this isn't an original idea, but I wanted to do it because I want to do everything on this channel. So might as well do it now. So we've got 5 categories: amazing, visually appealing, average, not great, and unsightly. And we're going to put every single Animorphs book into one of those 5 categories. Oh, it should be fun. Right, so let's just start in the order that they give us. The beginning. It's the one with the... What was it named... copied from? Hold on. It'll be here somewhere. Books. The beginning. Is it in trivia? The inside... book ends. This is the only book. The cover of Rolling Stone's Greatest Hits, Hot Rocks, 1964 to 71. Why that is the inspiration for the cover, I don't know, but I mean it's all right. I wouldn't say it's amazing, so it's certainly not going in that category. It's either average or visually appealing. I should really have the book in front of me, but it would be such a bloody hassle. I'm going to put it in visually appealing for now. It just breaches that category. Right, The Invasion. Unsightly. First book of the series. And it's one of the worst covers. From what you see there, it becomes very quickly obvious that they had the idea, but they hadn't perfected it. Because as soon as book 2 comes around and then book 3 and so on, the style changes. They reduce the number of mid-morphs. They do full bodies. It's less of this CGI weirdness. Because, I mean, it's all CGI, I think. But I don't know what technology they were using. But the mid-morphs just look really robotic and weird. Yeah, it's gopping. It's gopping and it's straight into the unsightly column. The Message, number 4. This is actually a really nice one. I think they got that spot on. I think that's when... Is that when David Mattingly started to do them? It was around 3 or 4. I think it was 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 3. So this is a David Mattingly one. His second. And it's really good. I mean, the Cassie... The Cassie looks fine. Dolphin is well done. And the mid-morphs are absolutely fine. And the background as well. On all versions. Yeah, pretty rock solid. I'd say that's visually appealing. Number 5, The Predator. Now, there are 2 covers. And the ones that we have in the UK are the lobster ones. Which isn't great. I think the gorilla one is actually better. But Marco's pose irritates me. That smug look on his face. I'm going to put it in average. It's not offensive, but at the same time, it's not really great. A bit annoying that we didn't get the gorilla version in the UK either, because there should have been a book with the gorilla on it in the UK, but whatever. Number 7, The Stranger. I think this one's bang average. There's little to say about this. Rachel morphing her grizzly. The mid-morphs are not bad. I don't like the background green colour. I think that looks pretty sickly, but apart from that, yeah, average. Number 10, The Android. The one with the spider. Marco sitting in a really weird pose and morphing into the spider. This one actually freaked me out as a kid because I remember it was one of the first books I got. I think the first 2 I got were number 1 and number 6. And then I think I got number 10 shortly after. And I don't think I would even read the others, I just got it. But why did I get it? The front cover, but at the same time I'd look at the front cover and be like, that's weird. I don't like that. But I do have a lot of nostalgia for this cover. I do. It's not visually appealing. Not in the slightest. but I wouldn't say it's not great. I'm going to keep it in average. Number 13, The Change. There are a lot of Boy Morphs Bird covers in this series. And though it's a great book, it's average. It's just pure averageness. This one, though, The Departure, number 19. Amazing. Just the colours, the pose going into the butterfly, that is awesome. That is an awesome book cover. And I don't think you'll find much disagreement with that. It's a very, very solid cover, and it's my first in the amazing column. Ah, here we go, another bird one. So Axe morphing into his Northern Harrier. Number 38, The Arrival. Good book. Axe's pose is weird. Axe's character model is... It's always been a bit weird. I think Romus Koukalis did the Andalites better than David McNally did. Not that that's anything against David McNally's design, but I think the general consensus is the ones on the Chronicles covers are better. But this one, I like the colour scheme. I like that lime green going into the bright yellow, as opposed to the Stranger, where it's just this sickly green throughout. And I like the fact that it's the birds on the branch. The mid-morphs are not bad. I'm going to keep it in average. I think most of them are going to end there. The Tobias ones I always really like, because you've always got his sort of an image of the boy Tobias sort of half visible in the background. The German Shepherd one, I really like the colour scheme. And I like dogs. I think it's just a well put together front cover. I'm going to put it in visually appealing. Number 45. The fact that Marco only morphs half ant for a brief second in this book annoys me a bit. Because you look at this and think, oh, he's going to go on another ant adventure. Like, fuck is he? No! And it was a pretty much of a letdown of a book. For those, I can't say the book's quality affects it here, because it doesn't, but the fact that the ant it was barely utilised in this book, it's a bit of a false advertisement. So, yeah, I don't like it. And the fact that everything is just orange. I like contrast. Like book 19, look at the contrast. You've got bright yellow, and then you've got you still got the yellow on the butterfly, but everything else is black. Even Cassie's costume is just this solid black. And that on the front of a bright yellow background. I love contrast in my art. I love contrast. And on this book 45, there's no contrast. It's not very interesting. It's not great. First into the not great column. Number 50, The Ultimate. I love owls. Great horned owls. Amazing birds. The background's interesting. I don't think it's as good as The Diversion, book 49. Yeah, it's average. 52, The Sacrifice. Axe sort of bending his head forward in the most bizarre manner. It doesn't look great. Morphing into a raccoon. Yeah, Axe's pose is weird in this one. It's like he's broken his neck. Background's a bit uninteresting. It's not that offensive though. I wouldn't say it's just boring or not great into average. I'm going to put it in not great. Number 53, Jake Morse the Anaconda. Some pretty rubbish mid-morphs in there. Background's relatively interesting. I like noodles, but yeah, it's pretty average. In fact, I'm considering putting it in not great because there's just something about it that just seems off to me. Yeah, I don't like the way that the background clashes with... It's like The Sacrifice. It's sort of bordering on average, but I don't like it. There's something about it I don't like. Visser. Okay, so one of the Chronicles books now. It looks good. He looks very intimidating. Once again, false advertising, because Vista 3 is hardly in this book. I mean, he's in the Council of 13 scenes, but it almost makes it look like this book is about him, but it's not. He's a secondary character, and that's sort of false advertising. So I'm not going to put it in amazing just out of principle, but it is visually appealing. It's definitely visually appealing, so I'm going to put it in that category. It looks like we're getting a fairly even split so far in these books, which is what you look for in these sorts of things. It's like a bell curve, so most of them are falling into average, and then you get the anomalies on either side. The Resistance, my favourite book of the series, with one of the goofiest selections of mid-morphs in the books, and a really weirdly done Jake in it as well. It's not great. It's bordering on unsightly. Oh, I feel bad. It's my favourite. It's almost the perfect Animorphs book. But the fact that the book cover just lets it down, it's almost unsightly, but it's not. It doesn't make me sick looking at it, so it makes me giggle a bit, so not great. Number 46, The Deception, Axe Morphing a Fighter Pilot. It's again, it's similar to 45, all the colours are the same. It looks very sickly. That green colour doesn't usually work. It's sort of worked over here on book 38 because it goes into that bright yellow and it makes it work. Here, it just... Ugh, it's gross. I think it goes into unsightly even, just looking at it, even though it's only really small on the screen here. Hold on a minute. Let's bring it up in Seropedia. Where are we? Books. And it is the... It's down here somewhere. The Deception. Oh, God, it's awful. Just those colour combinations and that splatter in the background. Looks like they've put a filter over a curry that's gone wrong. Ugh. And the morph just look... Yeah, it's awful. Awful. It goes in unsightly. Number 16, The Warning. Again, quite goofy. Background's a bit bland as well. Yeah, it's not great. It's a good book, but the cover's not great. 18, The Decision. The colours are alright on this one. I quite like the colours. Axe looks like... It doesn't look like he's fucking hunched over like that. He's standing like a normal freaking person. Morphing the Mosquito. And the mid-morphs are actually pretty interesting to look at. But I wouldn't say it's visually appealing. I wouldn't go that far. It falls into average. The Discovery, book 20. I like the colours in the background. I like the Cobra. It's not bad. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's visually appealing. So, by that logic, it falls into average. 21, The Threat. Jake morphs his faithful pooch, Homer. Not as good as the Diversion in terms of colour scheme. In fact, I'd say the background is actually pretty ghastly, but it's not that bad. I'm going to keep it an average. The Solution. I really like the blue background against the yellow of Rachel's top and the white mouse. I really quite like that. And the mid-morphs look fine. The middle one has a really goofy body shape, but what did you expect? That's part of what you expect when you come to Animorphs. So it's close to visually appealing. I'm going to bounce up to visually appealing. Just the colours in that, I really dig them. Book 30, The Reunion. Marco's eyes, just goofy as all hell. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Here we go. Hawkbajay Chronicles. Now, if we're operating purely on what Tier Maker has here, this cover, I'd say it's visually appealing. The other version, the British version, that artwork is awesome. Romus Koukalis did a brilliant version with that. So, with that in mind, I'm going to say amazing. Based on it, not this cover. This cover goes in visually appealing. But because of the other one, I'm going to put it there. Number 6, The Capture. Now this one's interesting because most of these books have a character starting on the left and morphing to the right, or starting from the right and morphing to the left. This one has Jake starting directly in the middle and morphing down into the fly. His pose is ridiculous. The mid-morphs are just as bad. And Jake's the person playing Jake on the book cover, just his face is just like like that. It's sort of really weird. It's almost like he's got the sun shining in his eyes. It's not great. And the colour behind it looks a bit dross as well. Andalite Chronicles. As much as this is a bad book, the artwork for this is amazing. Ramus Kakalis did an amazing job with the artwork, so that goes straight into amazing, no question. Number 26, The Attack. We get the tiger in finally. I'd say it's average. It's another one of those where there's nothing really outstanding, but there's nothing that bad about it either, so it just straight into average. The Familiar, Jake morphing his older self. Visually appealing. I mean, I know that a lot of people say, oh, but it's not morphing an animal, but I like the colour scheme. I like the concept behind it. It helps that it's a really good book, so I've got an inner bias towards it, but then I've got an inner bias towards 47, and look where that one's ended up. Close to unsightly. I think, yeah, 41, they've done a good job on that one. Well, David Mattingly has done a good job on that one. 48, The Return, Rachel morphs into Super Rachel. It's all confusing, this one. And it's similar to book 41, but there's just a certain level of goofiness in the Super Rachel expression. I wish they'd just gone all out with it, rather than just Rachel going, hey. It just looks a bit ridiculous. And if they'd actually gone, if David Mattingly had gone, okay, let's just go mental, make the Super Rachel give her big fangs and adjust her facial expressions, but no, it's just her with really long claws going, hey. So yeah, average. In fact, I'm going to say not great, because it could have been so much more. It really could have. More could have been done with that one, I think. Animorphs 2, the next passage. I quite like it. I do. I like the fact that it's just made up of loads of little Animorphs logos. And there are little messages in it as well. I actually think it goes up here. I wouldn't say it goes into amazing, because I think it's too grey. It's too grey to go into amazing. It needed that something extra in it, but yeah, I think I prefer the second one to the first one, both in terms of the quality of the book and the covers. I don't like the yellowish colour on that one, but again, it's the same concept. It's made up of all the little logos. Yeah, I'm going to keep it there, but if I had to put one of them down to average, it would be the lion one. Right. Number 15, The Escape. I like the concept of Marco diving in and turning into the hammerhead shark. I don't like the purple sky in the background. That weirded me out. It still does. Skies don't tend to be purple. And I don't know, I just don't think it goes well with the blue of the water. But I'm going to put it into visually appealing, because I think David Mattingly really went out to do something special with this one, and it definitely shows. Whereas on other ones, where he's just got, for instance, Jake on the capture, just putting his arm out like that, it doesn't look like as much effort has gone into that one as went into The Escape. It shows that effort went into that one, and I appreciate that, and I think just change the colour scheme and it would have been brilliant. Number 17, The Underground, crap book. Pretty good cover. I thought the cover on this one is visually appealing. I think. Just everything about it looks good. The mid-morphs especially. I think it's one of the best mid-morph sequences that David Mackley ever did. I wouldn't say it's amazing. Certainly not as good as The Departure, but yeah, it's good. It's very good. 23, The Pretender, when we still had the first Tobias model who looks suspiciously like Jake. The hawk turning into the rabbit. A bit dull, honestly. But there's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to keep it in average. The Exposed. I do like the colour scheme. I like the sort of aqua blue into sort of Squidward green. And I like how Rachel's hair has been used in the photo. Again, it looks like David Mattingly has gone out of his way to do something special with this. The mid-morphs, of course, look a bit goofy, but turning into a squid, you expect that. But it's going into visually appealing. There are quite a lot of those now. It's caught up to the average section. So what's next? The Sickness. Cassie morphing the Yerk. Pretty gross colour scheme. But it does sort of... The colour scheme works, but I'm not a great fan of it. You know, it's not mutually exclusive things. It seems to work, but it does... Yellow and brown isn't a good combination for anything. Yeah, it isn't. It doesn't look great. Mid-morphs are a bit weird. But it's the first time, and one of the only times we ever see a Yerk. So, David Mattingly did a good job with the Yerk. And because of that, I'm going to bump it up into the average column. I think it deserves to go in there, just about. Apart from that, I'm not a great fan of it. 31, The Conspiracy, Boy Morphs Bird, yeah. We get enough of that, average. 33, Crap Book, how's the cover doing? It's a very busy cover, probably the busiest one. But I don't think it suffers too much from it. Hawk morphs and light with transparent human in the background. Very, very busy. But I think it works. But I think the UK version is better. We don't have that awful green in the background. The cover version in the UK has a better colour scheme. In fact, I'm going to go... Is it on here? The UK version. So it'll be in the 30s. The Illusion. UK cover. It's still not great, but it's better than the US version in terms of colour scheme, I think. Yeah, I'm going to keep it in average for now. 34, The Prophecy, Cassie morphs the Hawkbajir. Once again, I think the colour scheme is a bit different in this one. Usually, the American and the US version, the US and the British versions, they have different backgrounds, but they sort of match up in terms of the general colour scheme. This one's a lot better, I think. This sort of reddish purple. Whereas in America, it's just bang, purple and pink. This one's much better. And I'd say that one... I think David Mattingly did a really good job, especially the fourth one. The fourth mid-morph. The fourth figure. I'm going to put it into visually appealing. 43, Tobias, thing in the background, and his Hawk body morphing into the Taxon. I mean, technically it's not visually appealing because Taxons just aren't. They just look horrible. But that's the way they're meant to be. Take that out of the equation. I actually think he did a pretty good job with this one. Visually appealing. Just about. Just about. 44. Cassie Morphs the Kangaroo. A book that surprised me. Oh. And I like how the pose has been utilised of the kangaroo. It does look a bit goofy. But you know what? I dig it. I dig it. I really like it. I'm going to put it in visually appealing. Ah, what a dreadful book The Absolute was. But how does the colour scheme fit? Marco morphing into the mallard duck. I like the contrast in the background. I love that contrast. The sky in the background is beautiful. Oh, where does this one go? Because I think the morph itself is a bit dull. It's like the rabbit one. It's like ducks and rabbits. You know, it's not exactly thrilling. But the background is beautiful. I'm going to put it in visually appealing, mostly for the background rather than the morph in the foreground. Number 9, The Secret. Cassie morphs the wolf. Really weird combination of seating position to standing dog. It's unusual that he's gone for that, but it looks more natural. Cassie looks more... It's not like she's in some weird jagged pose like that. She's just sitting there. And David Mattingly does well to make her sort of... So she's moving to stand up. Visually appealing. Would have been nice to have like the colour have some brighter background to bring out the contrast, but apart from that, I think it's a really good cover, visually appealing. Number 2, The Visitor. Great artwork. Back before David Mattingly, we didn't get full body though. But I gotta say, it is a very good cover. Oh, is it amazing though? It's bordering on amazing. It's not as good as The Departure. And because there's such a divide between how good they are compared to each other, I'm dropping it into visually appealing. But it's a high visually appealing. Number 8, The Alien, the first axe design. It wasn't great. And the human axe looks a bit confused. The background overtakes the foreground, which you don't want. You want the background to be striking, but you want it to push the foreground forward. And the fact that everything in the foreground is this dark blue means that it just loses intensity. It should be the foreground of the image. I'm going to put it in not great. Number 3, The Encounter. Boy morphs bird. Weird pose. Average. Elemist Chronicles. Now, I like the artwork, but for one thing, it doesn't look like Animorphs. It does not look at all like an Animorphs book. It looks more like a Lord of the Rings thing. Like this elvish creature. And much like with Visser up here, it's a bit misleading because it really should be a Kelbrid or something on the front, which I think would be much more interesting. I like the colour scheme. I like what Roman Skoukalis has done with the artwork, but it's just not right. It's not right. So it's not amazing. I'm going to put it in visually appealing because it is. It is visually appealing. But it could have been so much more. Megamorphs 4, Back to Before, the bingo one. I really like it. I actually bought the print for it because I really like it, and it is amazing. I love it. Just like the sepia tone thing works for this cover, and when you actually have the cover, it's got the Back to Before stands out because it's reflective. Outstanding cover. I think he's done a brilliant job with that one. One of the best, definitely. Number 11, The Forgotten. Pretty bland. Yeah, it's just, it is average. It's pure averageness. The Reaction. It's too goofy. I don't like the look of it. I don't like the colour scheme. It's not unsightly, but it's close. It's definitely in the not great category. Number 14, The Unknown. Yes. Cassie Morse the Horse. With some pretty disturbing, yet somehow amusing mid-morphs. Bright green background. It's either not great or average. I don't know. I like the horse. I like horses. I'm going to keep it in average, just for that arbitrary reason. 25, The Extreme. Very goofy. Along the lines of book 16, which is why I'm going to put it in there. Colour scheme ain't great on the US version either. It's better in the UK, which might bump it up to average, but no, it's falling into not great. 28, The Experiment. Axe Morphs the Cow. I really like the British colour scheme on this one, if we can bring that one up. We bring that one up. The Experiment. I don't like the colours in the American background. But look at that one. That's a really nice background. Which do you prefer? Over there. So you got that one. The blue and purple. Or you've got that one.
I like that one better.
You like this one better? Why?
It's just, I don't like the ripple effect they do on some of the books.
I'm just talking about the colours.
I like that one.
Well, blow me out of the water then. Christ. Thanks for the help.
Welcome, my dear.
Jesus. Because this is my list and my opinion, although apparently opinions are bad these days, I prefer this one. And I really like that colour scheme. I know it doesn't make the characters stand out, but I just like that colour scheme. But after all that, it's average. 32, The Separation. Rachel Morphs the Starfish. It looks really goofy. It's one of the it's really, really goofy. I don't even Rachel's smug expression. Don't like what she's done with her hair on that day either. The whole starfish thing. She halfway through she looks like one of those Stretch Armstrong toys. It's unsightly. I don't like it at all. 35, The Proposal. Marco Morphs Euclid. Faithful Poodle Pooch. It's average. It's lower average. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's probably one of the most bland ones in the series. Number 36, The Mutation. Very similar to The Escape, in that we've got the swimming going on. Jake diving underwater. Visually appealing. In fact, I think it does a better job of it than The Escape, because haven't got that weird purple in the background. I really like The Mutation, so I'm going to put that in visually appealing. Number 40, The Other. Pretty similar to... Where's the Reunion? Here. Weird bug-eye mid-morphs. And that's even weirder for a pose. The colour scheme in the background is... not bad, but the pink doesn't clash well with Marco's orange shirt. It's not great. Down it goes. 42. Rachel morphing the elephant. I think there's a reason they held off on that morph on the front cover for so long. Because it doesn't really work very well. It don't look great. I don't think David Matley did a particularly good job here. But nor is it particularly bad. I'm going to keep it an average. It's more than this book ever deserves. 24, The Suspicion. Cassie Morse the Anteater. Actually not a bad cover. I like the mid-morphs that David Mattingly has done with this one. And the Anteater is just a strange-looking creature to begin with. I quite like it. I'm going to put it in visually appealing. Megamorphs 1. Megamorphs 1. The Andalite's Gift. It's very, very 90s. It's so outdated. Oh, don't like it. Not great. Megamorphs 2, In the Time of Dinosaurs. I'll see where they're going with it. The sort of melded faces thing, but it just looks like a bit of a mess. And the colours don't stand out. No matter which version of the cover you get, because there are like different colour variants, but I just... lower average. Megamorphs 3, Elfangor's Secret. Certainly not as good as Megamorphs 4. The eyes in the background are weird because they don't look like the eyes of anybody we're familiar with. They don't even look like... They don't look like Andalite eyes, for a start. Whose eyes are they? I've never asked that question before. Whose eyes are they on Megamorphs 3?
Where?
If I get the book for you... Oh, it's down here somewhere. Megamorphs 3. Whose eyes are they? Don't look like Andalite eyes, do they?
No.
No.
They kind of have a snake eye look to.
Yeah, but it's like... I'm not a great fan of the poses that they're in. I like the reflectiveness, but whose eyes are these? Whose eyes are they? There's a question for the audience, but write in the comments whose eyes you think they belong to. Average. Right, 2 more books left, and they're both horrible. Are the covers any better? Number 37. Average. Yeah, that's the best the weakness is ever going to get on one of these lists. Average. 39, The Hidden. Average. And that's it, done. We are done. Let's just bring that in there so you can see it a bit better. Yeah. Done. Done diddly. There's your tier list. what can I say? That's it. If you disagree with me on anything, yell at me. I probably won't listen. Oh, while we're here, let's rank the top 4, because we've got 4 in the amazing category. I'm going to put the Hawkbajay Chronicles 4th. The Andalite Chronicles... There were so many different ones of the Andalite Chronicles. There's like 4 different covers, but they're all of relatively equal quality. Do I put it over the Departure? I think the Departure's almost a work of art. It's beautiful. Oh. I'm going to put the Andalite Chronicles in 3rd. Departure in 2nd. I think the Back to Before cover... I'll go get it now. I love it. There's just something about this cover that I really dig. I really like it. Just a mysteriousness to it. You got the light glowing up from beneath. It's like Children of the Corn sort of stuff going on here. And the bird in the foreground. The sort of... drop shadowed Back to Before with the reflective stuff on it. I really do like it. And then the inside stuff as well. I thought it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's my favourite cover of the series. And on... no, on top of all... funnily enough, this is the better of the 2 books, though. Despite the weird cover. That's a fantastic book. That one's pretty average, but opposite when it comes to covers. Right. I'm pretty happy with that order. I might bump Hawkbajay Chronicles over Andalite Chronicles if it were based purely on the cover with Aldra and Dax standing over the scenery. Yeah. 2nd through 4th, I can put in any order on any given day, but my number 1 spot is solid. Right. So that's been this video. I hope you've liked it. If you haven't, sod off. If you have, press like. And tell me what your favourite cover is. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to help. I'm here to listen, not really here to help. Thank you very much for coming to watch. I shall see you next time. Ta-ra!